Tom, what goals are you trying to accomplish with the grassroots hockey program while in your current role?
Well, certainly trying to elevate the number of participants, appealing to families and children that are, exploring activity and sport in general. We want to appeal, to those families, get them involved in the game. Certainly beyond that, we want to recognize the value of our First Nations population and make the game more accessible to them, as well as with our new Canadians, if you will. Beyond that, make sure that we continue to pay attention to the female participant and make the game accessible and exciting for them as well. On top of that, retain that which we do have at the grassroots and development levels as we speak, and make sure that they identify with the sport of hockey as almost a cradle-to-grave participation, and maybe worrying less about being a millionaire playing it, but having a million memories.
Tom Rennie from Hockey Canada joining us on the show this afternoon. Tom, what's your opinion of the state of Canadian hockey right now? Are we strong?
Well, we're in good shape for its appeal and the love of the game. There's no question about that. I think we're challenged by the level of participation in other sports, number one. Basketball, soccer, baseball being very popular here in Canada. But we have a greater threat in my mind, and that's the digital age. And those who choose to maybe put an iPad or some type of electronic device in their children's hands, or children in general sitting in front of electronic device and becoming sedentary and lacking the activity that provides for good mental and physical health. Those are big issues for me. And that being said, I think again, hockey is alive and well in Canada. We can never for a single moment take it for granted, mind you. And for me, there's a greater risk here, and that's the health and well-being of our population.
Tom, how can we encourage our kids to get out and play some hockey?
Well, I think we try to make the game as accessible as we can from a cost perspective, make sure that we do everything we can. We're not going to convince manufacturers to make equipment and sell it for less. We can certainly through various programming. We have the Canadian Tire First Shift. We have the Canadian Tire Jumpstart program. We have the Atomic program from McDonald's. All of these are designed to get kids into the game for a minimal expense on equipment, if any, and try hockey in the first place. And then beyond that, just do everything we can through our branches and through our minor hockey associations to recognize this is a lifestyle choice. Hockey doesn't have to be the only answer to keeping kids active. But in my mind, in my history, and my involvement with the game and watching thousands and thousands and thousands of others come through it, it just builds great citizens, and we have to make sure we identify with that.
Tom Rennie from Hockey Canada joining us on the show. Tom, the recent World Juniors in Montreal, thought your boys did a heck of a job that tournament. Did you get a chance to talk to the guys at all following that game?
I did. It was a pretty emotional dressing room afterwards. Tough to lose any kind of a game, championship game especially, by throwing a football through a tire, basically. I just soon see teams play and determine a winner by the nature of what the game's all about in the first place, and that's team play. And, with that being said, I thought our guys did a terrific job, quite honestly. And on that given night, I don't know that there was any losers at all who participated in the game, both as a player, but also as a fan and spectator.
We all know the outcome of the gold medal game between the States and Canada. What's your opinion of the shootout in a gold championship game? Should we get rid of it?
Well, for me, yes. I had the misfortune, I suppose, in 1994 in Lillehammer and coaching the Olympic team. We lost to Sweden in a gold medal final shootout. And same thing, I would much rather have seen teams play. And in the National Hockey League, that's a different story. In the regular season, there's a certain element of excitement to it, no question about that. But when you're deciding medals, championships, etc., in my mind, you have to play hockey.
You're a former NHL coach, having spent years in New York, Edmonton, Vancouver. Is sitting up high in the stands in your new capacity while your team battles a tough thing to do?
No, it's not. It's not tough. I'm always ready to learn and humble enough to recognize I better. With that being said, I enjoy the company of the people in those particular locations, if you will, under those circumstances. I believe I contribute, and had I not, I guess I maybe wouldn't have gotten this job. But with that being said, and I think when in reference to your question, there are moments when I'd love to be down there patting kids on the back or, coaching a power play or whatever the case may be. I have to say they're minimal now compared to what they were 2 or 3 years ago, and that's a good thing.
Tom Rennie from Hockey Canada joining us on the show. Tom, of course, we heard last week that the great Hayley Wickenheiser hung up her skates. Give us your thoughts on Hayley and the 23-year career that she had with Canada.
Well, it's an announcement that's inevitable. I mean, none of us have what we've got currently forever. That being said, just an absolute champion of the game. Forget gender. This is a superstar in hockey who delivered on more than one occasion the reasons why we play, the beauty behind competing, the beauty behind being a part of a team game, if you will, the exhilaration for being able to do things independent of your teammates with a high level of skill, and at the same time recognizing that the game is played by a group of players playing together. And Hayley, for my money, is the best of all time. There's no question about that when it comes to the women's game. She'll be sadly missed, but we're certainly hoping that she continues to give back to the game as she had to this point in time, because we certainly need her.
The president and CEO of Hockey Canada, Mr. Tom Renney, joining us. Tom, thanks for doing this.
My pleasure.